Welcome back. In the last recording, we talked about Trello and you saw my daughter use it. And I thought I'd just take a couple of minutes just to show you how to set up a Trello board. So real quick, I already have a Trello account, but I'll put the link to Trello in the bottom here so you can see and just go straight to the site, set up an account for yourself. And let me share with you what I'm talking about. So again, I've got one that's in 2 kids, but one that's a little older that has homework. And we get the homework every Sunday. It's for the week. And I just parse out on the board what to do each day. Also, at the beginning of the day, the teacher sends about like 8:30 in the morning. Here's a list of what the kids should be working on for that day. And you can see here, I just took it right out of my, copy and pasted it right out of my email and just listed each assignment. And so then I can easily highlight the assignment and go over to the Trillo board that I created for her here and create a card for each assignment. So the first one was Bible, and then science, band, social studies, it goes down. And it's pretty simple. You can also, when you're creating a card, so I'll show you here, I create a card, let's say Bible for March 21st, and I go in there to that card. I can put some notes in there. So again, this is a great tool for communication when you have another parent or guardian in the home that you guys don't get a chance to connect with or talk with each other. You can just put the notes here that says, hey, for today, you need to study for 20 to 30 minutes to prepare for quiz on Friday. So right there, the other person knows, oh, there's a quiz that they need to be preparing for. Then my daughter can log in and she can put notes in here, right? She could say something like, need to be quizzed after dinner today, right? So again, the other parent or guardian knows, hey, we've got to do some work here that before we move it to done. In IT language, we call that acceptance criteria. What does it mean to be, and the definition of done? What does it mean to be done for this task? How do we move it to the done column? And that is the key. That's the priority. What needs to be worked on for this task to get to done? The children are all worried about what's it going to be like to get ready for review, right? Because they want to know what parents are going to say. That's usually what we call the testing phase. And then when it passes testing, when it passes the acceptance test, then it moves to done and you don't have to worry about it. And again, it's super easy, really easy and user-friendly. But just a couple of things on the card. Again, you can put notes here. It tracks the history. And also too, there's a lot you can do labeling. So again, if you have more than one child, you can label whose homework you have to do on what day. You can add labels and you can add a checklist here, right? So for this task, you have to, looks like you have to read chapter 13. Maybe you have to answer the questions at the end of the chapter. And in order for it to be done, you have to write up or type up the answers and submit for review. Just as a quick example, right? It doesn't have to be overly complicated or to the T, but again, you don't have to use all the features here, but those are the quick ones. And then of course the move action, you can move it to other columns. So when the person is done, so we go in the checklists and your child checks off where they're at and you can move it to the next, he or she can move it to the next column right then while they're in the card. Or they can physically move the card over. 2 things, principles that we use from IT that you guys might find helpful is 1, we prioritize the list. So if there are 5 things to do tomorrow on the 18th, then I will list the most important ones. So for example, if she's got a quiz coming up on state capitals, that's the most important one. I want her spending that first moments of the day working on that, working on her state report, doing her reading. And then this literally is the priority order. I want you to work on this first, then the second, then this third. again, I'm being a bit more prescriptive because she's new at this and she's just getting started. If you have older children, especially in high school, let them make their own priority. They know what has to get done. They know their due dates. They know when the quizzes and tests and exams are coming up. They can set the priority and, again, move cards around as things change. And then the second principle that I really, really like and we use is to really hone in on the definition of done. What does it take to get this start to the done column? And then lastly, just as you can see visually, this is a pretty nice section where you don't really have to know a whole lot, but you're thinking, well, hold on a second. If it's the 18th and you've got all this work to do and it's after lunch, maybe it's 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're still working on these 3 things from breakfast, there's a problem, right? There's something's going on here. Maybe there's a blocker, there's an issue with time management, but why aren't we moving more stuff to doing and getting it over to the ready to review column? Why are things hanging in here? Which again brings me to the last principle. It's a bit more sophisticated. You might want to, again, look at it to your younger kids, let the older kids kind of figure it out for themselves. But for the younger kids, you as the parent or guardian would probably want to set WIP limits. That's WIP, which stands for work in progress. So how many cards can be open at one time before we need to clear them out of the way? So for example, her WIP limit might be 4. I don't want any more than 4 cards in the doing column. I don't want you to take off and start working on Bible and then you still haven't finished your state capitals, right? You're to recite 20 state capitals. Maybe she's at 10, she gets bored and she wants to move on to the next thing. Okay, that's fine, but don't start chipping off and now you've got everything in the doing and nothing is ready for a review. And again, that comes with lessons learned. So take my lesson learned and set WIP limits, especially for your younger kids, and encourage your older kids to set WIP limits for themselves. Because the key is not to what can I start getting to doing and start working on a little bit here. I don't finish it and then I start on the next thing. It's really focusing on what can I get done? How many cards can I move over to that ready for review column and then make it to the done column by the end of the day? That's the name of the game. All right, so hopefully these tips and tricks help, and take care. Stay agile, my friends.